Hello everyone. So today's question is actually comes from a phone call that I received from an in-district voter asking whether postage that is required to send in the mail-in or absentee ballots is considered a poll tax. And that is actually an open question before the court right now. A lawsuit was filed back in May asking the court to determine that it is a poll tax because it does require anyone using those mail-in ballots to purchase stamps or postage in order to send it back. So it would, under that argument, be considered a poll tax because it requires money in order to vote. I think previously it's been assumed that it's not a poll tax because there is a free alternative, right, in the ballot locations where you can go vote. But then, of course, the question arises, what about situations such as we're in now, where we're in a pandemic and it may not be safe for all of our voters to get out there? What position does that leave them in? You know, if they're having to pay, not everybody can afford that postage. So there's lots of questions, and I'm watching very closely to see when that decision comes out, to see what they come up with. I, of course, would like to see it considered a poll tax because I think it's an unnecessary burden upon voters that should not be there and is in fact a deliberate attempt to restrict voting abilities for certain people. However, even if a court determines that it is not a poll tax, I believe it is something that needs to be addressed legislatively. Oklahoma has some of the most restrictive and arbitrarily so voting laws. You know, I've spoken about that as far as the notary requirement before. The postage also is an issue. It's not something that's required. Each state has the ability to make their own laws. There are states that don't require postage. Their election board pays for that return postage, and I believe that's something that Oklahoma needs to move towards. But as far as the initial question on whether it is a poll tax, the answer is that's not quite been decided yet, and we're waiting that answer. So if you have any other questions, please send them in.